Good morning. Happy Saturday. Hair's doing great. So, first of all, I've heard from several of you lately how much you appreciate these morning talks, and I want to just tell you that it means everything from me when I get some feedback like that. You know, there are days that I wake up and I feel like, you know what, another half hour of sleep would be great. But I love coming out here and talking to everybody. I love sharing this information. I love this stuff. And when I run into somebody somewhere or talk to somebody on the phone and they tell me that they really enjoy these, it means everything. So thank you for doing that. So a long time ago, we talked about a guy who did this thing called Undercover Billionaire. Gary Stearns, I think was his name. It was a show that was on the Discovery Channel. And the deal was, this is a guy that was, quite successful, came from nothing, started his company was kind of a bank. I think it was a lending institution, and he'd done really, really well. And so he gets dropped off in a city, doesn't know where it is. He has $100, he has a pickup truck, and he has a phone with no contacts. And he can't use his name, he can't use any of his business contacts. And he has to start a company or somehow get worth $1 million in 90 days. And it was really cool how this guy did it. And whether or not he was successful or not, but the process that he went through, what he decided to do. In the first couple of nights, he slept in his truck because $100 doesn't go very far very quickly, especially when it's got to pay for everything. It's got to pay for food. It's got to pay for gas. Well, Grant Cardone has done the same thing. And if you've never listened to Grant Cardone, he's a real estate guy. And he's also, kind of a motivational speaker guy. I've learned a ton from this guy with regards to real estate. His information on real estate is absolute gold. The other thing that I think he's great at is if you want to run a business and have it be significantly successful, I think Grant Cardone shows you the energy at which you have to vibrate in order to do that. If you have a business, your business has the energy that you bring to it. And if you don't bring the right level to that business, it's not going to be successful unless you get really, really lucky. And Grant's not a tyrant. He's not one of those guys that yells and screams and throws things around and does that type of stuff. But he vibrates at a certain energy, and he comes in, and we're going to get this done. I had the pleasure of talking to my uncle, who watches these most mornings, yesterday. We talked about a guy in Rockford named Bob Strop, who he worked for a long time. And Bob was a really good guy. He was very good friends with Don Morris here in Freeport, both very successful business guys. And they were not, throw things around, yell and scream kind of guys. They were very good to their employees. But they came in and said, we're going to figure out how to get this done, period. We're going to accomplish this result. And that energy set the bar. And if you think about it, what they did is they made a decision. They made a decision that a certain outcome was going to happen. And I invite you to watch the Billionaire Next Door again and watch how he approaches his outcome. And Grant's, I don't think it comes out until January, but I guarantee you that there will be some great nuggets of information. But what's really important, I think, is to watch how these guys approach the problem. They don't let no be the answer, and they adapt. We've compared our outcomes a lot over the months talking about this to the military guys. Guys in the military, first of all, they live by an incredibly high standard. How does the military take everybody and turn them into the best trained soldiers in the history of the world, or certainly some of the best trained soldiers in the history of the world? Well, one is standards, right? They have incredibly high standards, and they do not negotiate with regards to those standards no matter what. And one of those standards is physical, but they also have a mental standard. They have a standard of, we are going to create this outcome. Failure is not an option. If you listen to the phrases that they incant again and again, adapt, overcome, improvise, that's the Marine Corps. There's no way that you don't accomplish the result. Whatever. Don't tell me about what's in the way, what is going to happen in order to accomplish the result. And the reason that they're successful is because they approach it that way. And if we approached all of the areas of our life that we wanted to change with that same intensity and attitude, then we'd create every outcome that we want to create. But instead, we spend a lot of time looking at what's not going wrong and complaining and, it's this and it's that and it's COVID and it's this is happening and this is happening. And, how many of us approach it the way that the military does and look at it and say, we're going to create this result no matter what. I'm going to adapt, overcome, and improvise. How many of us incant those things again and again and again? And one of the problems that the military guys have is they don't credit themselves enough for creating that outcome. And when they leave the military, they don't live by those same standards. Remember, whoever you surround yourself with is who you become. But I would invite you again to watch Stearns on the Undercover Billionaire, and look for Grant Cardone's when it comes. And the big thing to watch with these guys, it's also very important to watch what they do. If you want to run businesses, if you want to be successful financially running businesses, watch what these guys do and how they do it. That's also very important. But I think the most important thing to take away is the intensity that they vibrate at, and that they are so certain in their body that they're going to create this outcome. I mean, think about it. Nothing to $1 million in 90 days when you have nothing. You're just creating it out of thin air. I mean, that's a pretty unrealistic expectation, but yet they absolutely have that expectation. And I know when you watch Stearns that, some things don't turn out the way that he expected them to, but that doesn't stop him. Okay, well, then he finds another way. He takes a different approach. Here's my timeline. Here's my end game. A goal is a dream with a deadline. And these guys have deadlines. I'm going to create this result by this time, period. And as a result, they create great results. So as you approach this Saturday, I invite you to think about how people who are significantly successful in areas like this, how they make decisions. They put it in their body and they decide, I will create this result. And they don't look at it not working. They don't worry about it not working. They only look at ways that it can work. They only look at ways that it's going to happen. And they approach it with a level of intensity, of vibration that they're at, that these outcomes are going to happen. You don't have to be a tyrant. You don't have to be ridiculous, but you do have to be determined. And these two guys will show you how to do that. Have a great Saturday, everybody. I'll say good morning. We got a lot of people on here. Rebecca, good morning. Valerie, great to see you. Gary, my man, good morning, sir. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Dolores, great to see you as always. Valerie saying hi again. My Uncle Bill and Patrick, great to see everyone. Have a great Saturday, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.